What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Goose Island Beer Company, and they're out of Chicago, Illinois, and this is their Bourbon County brand 14 Stout, and this is the 2021 vintage. So they're calling this one a stout aged in rye whiskey barrels with cassia bark, cacao nibs, panela, and coconut water. It comes in at 13.2% alcohol by volume, 60 IBUs at the time of review. This bottle is just over 6 months old. I want to give a huge thanks and shout out to a couple of good friends of mine and fellow beer tubers, Dan and Mike, over at FLX Beer Reviews for hooking me up with this one. So big thanks to them for this beer. In the description box, I'll post a link to their channel. Great guys, great content. Go check them out. And very generous individuals because they hooked me up with this one. I believe it was Dan who had an extra bottle or two of this one. And he was like, hey, did you pick that one up? I was like, no. He's like, you want one? Yeah, Dan, I do. So I can't thank Dan. I think it's Dan. If not, you know what? Dan and Mike, thank you both because they've hooked me up with a lot of great beer, and I cannot thank them enough for this one. So I did not get a chance to grab this one. When I went out for Black Friday this year, or I guess last year, I picked up the base beer and then two variants, the Classic Cola and the Cherry Wood. This one I did not see, and the Toasted Barrel was already sold out when I went to the couple places I went to. So the fact that I'm able to try this one, I'm super pumped. So this is basically a re-brew of the 2014 version of Proprietors, or as a lot of people say, Prop. That beer is, well, all the props are Chicago only, and this is basically that same recipe with one tweak. They said they actually added rye to the mash bill, so in addition to it being aged in rye whiskey barrels, it also has rye in it, so maybe bump up the rye a bit. Now, I will say, full disclosure, I have watched some reviews of this beer over the past 3 or 4 months since it's been released, and I've seen a bunch of people check it in on tap, a lot of my friends on tap, that is, and the one prevailing thought that a lot of people had, or that I specifically have, is that a lot of people think there's a bit too much of a cinnamon character. Now, when it comes to cassia bark, that's basically cinnamon. It has the same, characteristics, and a lot of people said it was very cinnamon heavy. Now, I did watch a review of this one from a good friend of mine, a fellow beer tuber, Kyle, over at No High Beer Reviews, and he did not get the whole too much cinnamon thing, and he reviewed it, I think, maybe late December, so it was maybe a month after the release. Now, I don't know what to think about this one other than, obviously, what my taste buds say, but I'm hoping that the cinnamon isn't too big. I'm not saying I'm very sensitive to cinnamon, but I don't like a huge cinnamon dryness. So my goal is that this cinnamon is there, or the cassia bark is there, but it's not too big. So I don't know what to expect about this one. I didn't have the 2014 prop. The oldest prop I've had, I believe, is 2015. So I have not had the original version of this. Anyway, way too long to not even pour the beer, but I just want to talk about it. Anyway, let's give it a pour here. Yeah, pour it out like motor oil. Give it a nice pour like that. It's probably about half the bottle, and I'll cap the rest and drink it at a later date. So, later date will probably be tomorrow or the next day. Anyway, yeah, so this has sheets of alcohol. It is pitch black in the glass. When it's pouring out, more like a really dark brown, but in the glass it's pitch black. It has a dark brown half finger, really creamy looking, like I said, sheets of alcohol on the glass. Looks beautiful. Looks like so many of the other ones. Now, this is 13.2%. I believe the base was 14.2. Was the Classic Cola and the Cherry Wood, I think, were in the same range. So this is the lowest ABV. I don't know of all of the variants, but I'm pretty sure this is the lowest ABV of the lineup in 2021. Let's get a nose. Oh. What is this? This nose is crazy. So the cassia bark, the cinnamon is there. What I'm getting out of this is I had it once before, and it conjured up memories of a thing that I've had once before, but it was in maybe the past 5 years. I picked up a local chocolate bar. I forgot where it was from, but it was a cinnamon dark chocolate latte. I think it was like a 50 or 60% cacao bar. That's exactly what I'm getting in the nose. Like, it has the smell that I remember that tasting like. So the cassia bark's there, but it's not too big. It's just like I feel like cinnamon, you can get the cinnamon that has that big dryness and like big, like spicy cinnamon blast, or you can get the cinnamon that has like a sweeter, kind of softer cinnamon. I think this is like the sweeter, softer kind of cinnamon. Yeah, it's not overbearing. but tons of dark chocolate. Like I said, 50% cacao bar, even a little bit of fudge, maybe not as sweet, but definitely there. And then I'm getting coffee, and I don't know if I've said coffee in any of the Bourbon County. If so, it's been like, the 5th, 6th character. Here, it's prominent for me. I don't know. There's a slight hint of coconut. Now, for me, a lot of people who follow the channel and know me know that I'm a coconut fiend. I love coconut. Toasted coconut, shredded coconut, raw coconut, whatever the case may be. I love coconut. Coconut water is not necessarily my favorite thing for some reason. I'm getting a little bit of coconut here, but it's kind of a bland kind of coconut thing. Now, panela sugar is like unrefined, I think, like brown sugar. Like, I think it's unrefined, like, I want to say it's very prominent in like Latin America. And I believe that last year's release of brown sugar, which was unrefined sugar, used the panela. And I'm kind of, I see where that, so again, I haven't had a panela a lot, but that's what it kind of smells like. I'm getting a little bit of that rye kind of spiciness too. I think that's blending in with the cinnamon. To me, this smells again like that cinnamon latte, dark chocolate, 50% cacao bar type of thing. I think it was just like I think it was like cinnamon latte, 50% cacao bar is what I had. I don't remember exactly the, it was really good. It was kind of different. I didn't love it, but it was really good and different. But that's kind of what I'm getting in beer form. Then I'm getting, a little bit of that rye whiskey, a little bit of spirit, oak tannins, things of that nature. This is very complex, but here's the thing. In the nose, it's somewhat disjointed to me. It's not all blending together well. Outside of the cinnamon, the coffee, and the chocolate, I feel like the barrel's kind of just separated from the rest of it. I don't know. It smells good, but not like amazing. I think this is the least impactful nose, although the classic cola stout wasn't like amazing either. So I don't know. Let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. Thanks again to Dan and Mike. One thumb, two thumbs, two thumbs, two thumbs, two thumbs. That is fucking delicious, my friends. First things first. I don't know if again, my palate's different than everybody else out there. We all have different palates, but the cinnamon is not stepping in the way whatsoever of this beer. It's accentuating the base beer. It's accentuating the barrel notes and the rye. It's not stepping on anybody's toes here. This is not a cassia bark / cinnamon note bomb. This is nowhere near it. Body in this might be a little bit thinner than the base. The base in the cherry wood, I would say base, cherry wood, classic cola. This is like right between like classic cola and the cherry wood. It's like lower side of full, medium full. Mouthfeel carbonated, but really soft and smooth, a little bit of creaminess on the palate. The taste is very complex, and it's not disjointed like the nose was, which is super welcome because, again, I was kind of worried with that nose. Right up front, that cassia bark is noticeable. And it hits you at the tip of the tongue, and you're like, oh, okay, this has a spicy cinnamon kind of characteristic. But then, instead of letting that run wild like Hulkamania back in the 80s, what happens is the 50-60% the cacao nibs come in, and on top of that, there's this nice roasted malt coffee character, and it just comes in and it like shields the cassia bark from being like just, going crazy. And then it starts intertwining with that. And I'm left with that cinnamon latte 50% cacao bar that I had many years ago. And it's beautiful at the front of the palate. It's really nice. As it continues to pass on through, the panela kind of bumps up the sweetness, I would say, but also the base beer is just sweet. So there's a little bit of a bump of sweetness after that. So it turns that like 50% cacao bar into like just straight dark chocolate bar, which is really welcomed, I think. Halfway through the palate, the rye hits, and it enhances the spicy character of the cassia, but again, it doesn't step in the way. And I wouldn't say this, I wouldn't say rye whiskey, but knowing what's in there and how it's playing off of the adjuncts and everything at the front of the palate, the rye is prominent halfway through the palate. A little bit of like vanilla oak tannin thing going on. It then finishes, and this finishes like semi to full on dry. Again, I think the cinnamon, the alcohol, and the oak tannin is all playing a role in that dryness. This is very mild in terms of bitterness for me. This is fucking really good. It's really good. Again, I saw very mixed reviews on this one, what people were saying. I saw a couple of people gave it like a 4.75, 5 out of 5, loved it. Other people gave it like a 3.75 and a 4 out of 5. Most of them said it was too cinnamon heavy. I will say that the cassia bark is still, it's not the predominant note. It's still very noticeable. If you're someone who is very sensitive to that note in a beer or in general, you probably want to sit on this for a year or two at the very least. For me, it works in, I want to say perfect harmony. I don't think it's a perfect harmony, but it's harmonious in how all of these flavors blend together. The one downside I have to this beer is the coconut water. It has done, if it's done anything to this beer, I'm not picking up on it. I would have rather them have like toasted coconut or like raw coconut or shredded coconut. Coconut water to me, it's not really doing anything to me or to my palate and for me. 13.2%, you can tell it's a bigger beer. But I can also, and again, this is just me bullshitting and saying stuff that probably I have no idea what I'm talking about because this is a Beer Patrol. Like I know what I'm talking about. This definitely drinks a little bit lighter in alcohol than the other ones. I think even though it's only like 1% lower in ABV, I think it's noticeable because I'm getting a warming in the chest and into the like stomach and like in my, just I can feel it. On the palate, those other beers, I could tell they're bigger. I would guess like 10 to 11% as opposed to 13.2. So I think this is drinking how it should in comparison to the other three that I've reviewed. I like it. Here's the thing. I think the base beer and the cherry wood are slightly better for what I want. But this is fucking damn tasty. This is without question better than the classic cola. And I think if I sat on this for a couple years, if I had another bottle, which I don't, but if I did, I would say that in a couple years, I think this is going to be fantastic. Who knows though? It says on the bottle, develops in the bottle up to 5 years, says it for all of the variants. Pretty sure it's all the variants, at least the ones that I have. Yeah, this is really fucking good. I can't wait to cap that, throw it in the fridge, and have it tomorrow in my 52 degree Fahrenheit beer fridge, that is. Anyway, what are we going to give the Bourbon County brand 14 Stout, the 2021 vintage? What are we going to give this? I think I gave the base a 4.6, gave the cherry wood a 4.5, and I think I gave the cola a 4.05. This is just under the base and the cherry wood. I'm going to go straight 4.5 out of 5. Like this, it's really good. The only negative here for me is that I didn't get any of the coconut water. The panela gets kind of lost. I think it might just be bumping up the sweetness. This is not too sweet though. That's the thing. It's very, very dry on the back of the palate. So it's sweet up front, but it balances out pretty well. Yeah, I like it. I don't know. 4.5 out of 5. Not much more to say about it other than price and availability. Believe price points on this. And Dan, if you remember what you paid for it, let me know. I think these were a bit more expensive than the cherry wood and the classic. I think this was like $25 a bottle. I would buy this if I had this and let's say I go into my local bottle shop tomorrow and they have a bottle of this that's $24.99. You can bet your bottom dollar I am picking up a bottle, maybe two of them to age. So I would totally pay $25 a bottle. Is it expensive? Sure. It's 16.9 ounces. It's a lot more than $1 an ounce, which is usually where I max out. So yeah, it's expensive, but I think this one is worth it. I don't think it's amazing. It's certainly not the best variant I ever had, but it's very damn good. And availability, if you saw Bourbon County and a bunch of variants, maybe you saw this one. I think Kyle said this one didn't show up by him, and it didn't show up by me. But then it showed up by Dan and Mike, who are 90 minutes from me. And they're in the basically southeast of Rochester. And Dan was able to get a couple bottles of it. So I don't know. Maybe it did show up by me and I just didn't see it. Regardless, availability is not the greatest for some of these variants because they're either really expensive, limited, and whatnot. This one's kind of in between, but I am happy that I'm super happy and super thankful that Dan and Mike were able to hook me up with a bottle of this. So a huge thanks to them for this one. So not much more to say about 4.5 out of 5. Really good score. If you've had this one before, Let me know what you think about it. Post in the comment section. Hey, did you open this one up recently? Do you plan on aging it? I can see people aging this one specifically because they heard negatives about the cassia bark being, too cinnamon forward or whatever. But for me, I'm happy I opened this one now because I'm really enjoying it. I do think in maybe a year or two of age will increase the enjoyment factor of this one, the drinkability. But for me, I'm going to drink the rest of that glass and be happy about it. So, yeah, I think I'm done here. Let me just say this. And at this point, it's probably a 15-minute review at the very least right now. I like to talk. When it comes to these Bourbon County reviews, I feel like they're kind of special. So they're going to be longer. If you clicked off, totally understand it. But if you did click off, you're going to miss this. Next Friday, you're going to see this on the Friday before April Fool's Day, which lands on a Friday. April 1st, Friday, April 1st, 2022. That is the 4th anniversary of the Beer Patrol. I did start my channel on April 1st of 2018. So what I'm going to do is dive into my vast cellar, which isn't really a huge vast cellar, not like the aforementioned Kyle over at No Hype Beer Reviews. And I'm going to review a Bourbon County variant that has some age on it. We're talking 2013, 14, 15. We're gonna review one to celebrate the 4th anniversary of the channel. And hopefully it has held up well. We'll see. The one thing about aging beers is they could go sideways. They could turn into something delicious. They can turn something gross. We'll see. But I think you're going to want to check out that review because I am super excited to give it a go. The beer that I'm going to review. I'm not going to spoil it now. You'll see it next Friday. But yeah, if you've watched to the end, let me know. I can't thank everybody enough for supporting the channel. We're almost at 2,500 subscribers. It just blows my mind. I'm a dude that sits here and drinks beer on camera and gives my opinions on it, and bad opinions, terrible opinions, and you guys watch, and I can't appreciate it enough. So, yeah, I just getting in my feels now. I'm just kind of just rambling and shit, so whatever. If you watch to the end, post in the comment section. Let me know. Once again, huge thanks to Dan and Mike for this beer. Thanks to everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. Till the next one and next week. Cheers.